Welcome back to Comfort Food for Families Pilgrimage to Pascha. I'm Mari McMullen, and this is my little sidekick. What's your name? Sam. Last week, Presbytera Melanie talked about the spiritual discipline of fasting from food. This week, I want to focus on the other aspect of fasting that can sometimes be overlooked or lowered in level of importance, and this is fasting from behaviors that are spiritually destructive. What I mean by spiritually destructive is things that otherwise inhibit you from doing something that's edifying for your faith or your life. For instance, watching too much TV, like binge watching shows on Netflix, listening to vulgar music, spending all of your time on social media, gossiping, swearing, etc. Once you remove these distractions from your life, you might be surprised how you start to fill your time. Instead of spending hours in front of the TV at night, you might end up picking up a spiritual book. Instead of scrolling mindlessly through social media, you might end up praying the Jesus prayer or connecting with your spouse. Instead of listening to music, you might be just fine just existing in silence without feeling the need to busy yourself or distract your mind. The possibilities are endless and will only draw you closer to Christ. Once you remove these worldly distractions from your life, you realize just how much you don't need them to be happy. And in fact, you might find that they might have been making you unhappy. And I don't say that to imply that these things are inherently bad for us, but that's the cool thing about Lent is that we take this focused time and this intentional time to kind of sit back and analyze what we're doing in our lives. And we can kind of regroup and then decide how we want to use these things, or if we want to use these things at all going forward. It might seem really daunting to cut out Netflix or to cut down your time on social media, or it might not even be those two things that are your vices. Those are just my vices. I mean, whatever distracts you or keeps you from putting your sights and your focus on your faith and on God, just try cutting it out on Wednesdays and Fridays or Holy Week. You can start small. If you haven't tried fasting from anything else besides food at this time, you may be thinking, well, we're already halfway through Lent, so what's the point? I'll try next year. Actually, it's not too late to start. St. John Chrysostom says in his Paschal homily, "If any have tarried even unto the 11th hour, let him also be not alarmed at his tardiness. The Lord gives rest unto him who comes at the 11th hour, even as unto him who is wrought from the first hour." Any effort that you put in right now, no matter how late it feels or how small it feels, will be rewarded. Because this isn't a time of deprivation. This is a time of spiritually disciplining, sharpening, and readying ourselves for the Feast of Feasts. I wish you luck on the last leg of your journey.